Hi, my name is Elizabeth Blandon. I'm here on behalf of Blandon Law to explain how you can expedite an interview with Citizenship and Immigration Services. First of all, it's important to understand that there are several different types of interviews. For example, asylum applicants go for an asylum interview at the U.S. Asylum Office. For example, we have the Miami Asylum Office, where there are about 8 offices throughout the United States. Meanwhile, someone who's applying for residency, perhaps based on the fact that a U.S. citizen's spouse is applying for them, will be going for a residency interview. Likewise, there may be interviews for removal of conditions. And the last one is usually an interview to become a citizen when someone applies for an application for naturalization. There you'd be going to what's known as a field office, a local field office. In South Florida, we have several field offices like the Hialeah Field Office, the Oakland Park Field Office, and Miami Field Office. For any of those interviews, it's important to know that what immigration looks at to make the interview go faster than their regular processing time is what they call an expedite request. Someone needs to make an expedite request saying, based on the following things, I want my interview faster than other people. Immigration has on its website, uscis.gov, a list of what they consider important to expedite an interview. That includes things like national interest, but it also includes things like medical illness of the person applying for the benefit or of a recent or of an immediate family member. In one of our cases, or one of our asylum cases, we expedited an interview based on the fact that the applicant's spouse is unfortunately very ill with cancer. Normally, an asylum case will take about 3 or 4 years, depending on where in the country you are, to go to interview. But in this case, the person went to interview and asylum was granted within 1 year of arrival. Finally, you want to know how you can expedite your interview. So, of course, your attorney will be helping you if you're represented by an attorney. But there's also 3 things you can do. First, in addition to asking at calling the 1-800 number and finding out what the regular processing time is, once you know what the regular processing time is, you can actually send a letter with all the supporting documents to the office where your interview is going to be held. The receipt as to where your case was originally sent is something that you have. You have the receipt number, and you may have something known as an alien number. All of that information should be included on the letter when you make your expedite request. In addition to sending it through the mail, you should also, if your interview is going to be held at a local field office, go to the local field office with something known as an info pass appointment. It's like an informational pass. You just want some information on the case. So if your interview is going to be at a local office, you want to make an info pass request, again, taking the same documents, copies of the same documents, to the local field office to ask for an expedite request. Finally, if you believe you truly deserve your interview to be held faster than it is being held, and you don't hear from the local field office or you don't hear from immigration, your last resort is to contact an office of ombudsman. The ombudsman's office is here to serve you. You are a client of a government agency, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, and the ombudsman office is very good about responding to clients and explaining why the interview is not being expedited. By the way, all of these things, it's important, are ways of requesting an expedited interview, a faster interview. But immigration always will determine whether or not the evidence that you've provided is enough to fall into their list, their checklist, as to what they consider reasonable needs. So if they just say that no, based on what you've demonstrated, there is no reason to move up your interview, then that's the answer. And the ombudsman won't be able to change that answer. As always, we're here to protect and inform at Blandon Law. And if we can represent you, we hope to open the door to your success.